Hello, welcome to Zigmatech Learning Hub. I will be your instructor for fine art. You can call it visual art as well, cultural and creative art. Now for this class, we are going to be taking our exercises from the Examguide app. Now if you don't have this application installed already in your device, I will advise you download this app in order for you to follow along this class. Now, Examguide is a leading educational app that helps students prepare adequately for exams, for various exams such as UTME, post-UTME, WASE, GCE, KCPE, IJMB, JUPEB, Calbepedia, BESE, JSCE, NCEE, NECO, to mention but a few. You can download the app from our website www.examguide.com, or you can download it as well as using your Google Play Store. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to be updated on new videos as we upload. Now, if you're ready for today's class, okay, let's get started. All right. Now, today we'll be looking at the introduction to the study of art. Introduction to the study of art. We have all heard a lot about the word art. What exactly is this art? So today I'm going to take you through the journey of art, and I want you to sit with me because it's not going to be bored. You're like, I promise you I'll not bore you. Yes, I'm going to take you step by step so that you understand fervently exactly what art is all about. Now, before any further ado, let's get started. Now, my objective for today, there are some set of bullet points I would want you to get at the end of this class. Meanwhile, this class is a 3-part class. So I'm going to take it bit by bit so that you get everything you are supposed to get in this class. Now, by the end of this class, the number one thing I will make sure you know is, one, what is art? You'll be able to define the word art. Number two, you will state and explain a brief history of the word art. How did the word come about? Who created this word? Who coined it? What exactly does it mean? Where does it originate from? So you get that by the end of this class. I hope you're getting excited now, right? All right. Now, number 3 is you are going to know the divisions of art. Now, when I mean the divisions of art, now I'm talking about the family. Just like art being the mother, give birth to some children. In the course of this class, you're going to know the children and the grandchildren and the great-great-grandchildren of this very mother art. Are you with me? Okay. Now, 4 is the branches of visual art. Now, under this broad art, it has what? Branches, like a tree, you have the stem and then it has branches. So we're going to talk about each and every one of those branches. Come on now, relax. You will not be bored, I promise you. Now we're going to talk about each and every one of those branches during the course of our lesson. And then finally, we are going to also look at the futures of art. Why will I spend my time studying art? Why will I waste my time learning this? All these are some of the things you are going to get by the end of this class. So I want you to get seated. If you have a cup of tea, orange juice, you can sit down and then let's cruise together because you're going to catch some fun. Okay, now let's dive into class for today. All right. Now, for one to define the word art in a single statement, it is near impossible. Now, based on the fact that art is broad, so giving a statement or a sentence to define the word art will be really, really difficult. Therefore, I'm going to see how I can actually break this thing down in precept, so that you can get everything the way you should. Okay, so now art is a very wild human activity that involves what? Some skills. Now, it is imaginative, it is creative, It is aesthetic in nature. Art, it involves several skills. It is imaginative, it is creative, and it's what? Aesthetic. What do you mean by aesthetic? What do you mean by art being creative? What do you mean by being imaginative? Don't worry, I'm going to explain all these in the course of the study. All these are what I want to use to keep you through so that you follow me down to the end of this class. All right. So, one controversial thing about art is that art affects almost every aspect of man's life. Oh, yes. It affects the way you sleep. It affects the way you talk. It affects the way you comb your hair, the hairstyle you give yourself. It affects eventually everything you do. Now, that's why you say the art of crying, yes, the art of sleeping, even the art of dancing, everything that pertains to man, evolves around what? Art. Now, the way of life of diverse race, creed reflects their past down to their present, and with good sense of imagination, their future. Now, the development of man from old stone age to the present is a reflection of diverse and progressive activities. Now, you see exactly what I'm just trying to explain to you, that from the origin of man, down from the old stone age to their present, art helps us to evolve from one stage to the other. Now, because of the help of the art, you see what your grandparents did or what your great-great-grandparents did. You learn from them and then improve on it. All these are the importance of art. It helps us, to relate our past down to our present. Are you getting that? Now, all the forms of art, either visual art, literal art, or theater art, are what express with different ways of life of people that produce them. If I'm an actor, there is no way I will act exactly the same way, Jim Ike or any of your favorite actor will act. We are total different people, so we react based on our own creative ingenuity. So people react or produce things based on their own creative ingenuity. Little wonder they will say two people can never or will never see a thing and then give it the same interpretation. I doubt the possibility. Yet it can be similar, but it cannot be the same. You bring 2 oranges and place it in front of 10 students. I promise you, you get 10 different drawings. So that is exactly what art is. Now, their history, belief, and other situations that requires human relevance in the society. Now, if you now bring art in relation to culture, art is creative, which is when I want you to get this now. Now, culture in relation to art is simply a way of life of people and skills of expression in different ways to provide new things that would be beneficial to all. Now, you know the word culture. Now, culture is the way of life of people. Now, if you now bring this culture together with art, now it's evolved into a new brown thing altogether. Now, this is the way I live. I will need to produce something that will suit my people, that will be beneficial to my people. That is what art tells us, or that is one importance of art. It helps us solve practical problems. For example, for those of us that are conversant with the broom, yes. Before now, we have palm fronds and all that. Apart from technology that has evolved, we now have the mop stick and other form of sweeping. But usually, before now, we use the regular broom to tidy up our place. Now, all these are the importance of art. Explaining art can never be overemphasized. Now, what exactly is art? Art is this, art is this. I have explained a whole lot. Now, what exactly is art? Now, remember I told you one cannot define art in one single definition. Therefore, I'm going to give you 8 different definitions of art. And mind you, any of this definition you choose, you are absolutely correct. Any of the definition you choose, you are absolutely correct. Now, art is a general name given to all skills and activity. Did you get that? Art is a general name given to all skills and activity. The art of dancing, the art of drawing, the art of playing, the art of crying. It is a general name given to eventually what? All skillful activity. Now, other definitions include art is a means of self-expression of inner feelings or ideas about things, people, environment in general. It is a means of self-expression of inner feelings or ideas about things, people, the environment in what? In general. Now, the outward expression of your inner feeling defines art. You know, what you feel inside, you express it out, not for the bad, but what? For the good, you know, to benefit the people living around you. Now, thirdly, this art is the act of making skillful use of materials to produce things for human use and what? Pleasure. Hey, did you get that? So now you should start thinking, what am I going to? If art is the art of making skillful use of materials to produce things for human use and pleasure, what am I going to give back to the society? You know, art propels, art forces you to bring out the creative ingenuity in you, to start being responsible and useful to your society. So therefore, if you have things around you, art is telling you, hello, you're wasting me, come on now, make out something new. All right, so that is one definition of the word art. It is the act of making skillful use of materials to produce things for human use, both for pleasure and for what? Utilitarian. Okay, I'm getting that. I hope you're following. All right, now let's look at it. Let's look at the fourth definition. Now, art is the visual and non-visual representation of human thought. It is the visual and non-visual representation of human thought. What do you mean by visual and non-visual representation of human thought? Okay, I'll explain that. Now, visual means something you can see with your eyes. You can feel it. Why non-visual means something you cannot see. So I can be thinking something in my head until I bring it out to life. You don't know what I have in my head. So art is the visual and non-visual representation of human thought. So if what I'm thinking in my mind is to cry, the only way I will bring it out for you to know is I'll start crying. You get that? Beautiful. Then you now say, oh, he's feeling sad. So some persons will want to express their feelings with painting. You know, I have a friend, he said whenever he's feeling depressed, he draws. Hey, well, that is how he cures his own. So that's how he expresses his own sadness or so. Why I have another friend too that said, whenever I feel kind of troubled or worried, I write. So what about you? Come on now, I know you can relate. To some of you, you choose to lock yourself inside. To some of you want to sing. To some of you just want to do something. You want to play a game. To some of you too, you want to dance. Well, it depends on how you want to express yourself. So art is what? The visual and non-visual representation of human thought. Now let's continue. Now let's look at the fifth definition. Art is the skill of doing something which is not taught by nature. Did you get that? The skill of doing something that is not taught by nature is what? Is art. You do something that nobody taught you. You see some person that invent. How did you get that? I don't know. It just came out. It just came out. So that is exactly what art is. Now, the fifth or the sixth definition is art is a universal language of expression. It is a universal language of what? Of expression. Now, the seventh definition I'm going to give you is art is a subject that studies human being in his beautiful environment together with his culture, how he communicates with the culture, and the degree of his what? Appreciation for the work of art and the preservation of his what? Culture. All these are what art encompasses. Are you following? Beautiful. So now let's continue. Now, in summary, therefore, art can be defined, or art can be said to be the universal language of self-expression of man in his cultural and natural environment through the use of some materials, skills, techniques to produce various works of self-satisfaction, utility, beauty, and aesthetics. So this is the encompassing definition of the word art. Did you get that? Are you sure? All right. So therefore, I will show you an image that covers everything we've been saying for the past few minutes. Now, look at the image that is right in front of you. You see the word art as the mother. Now, art is feeling, art is creation, art is beautiful, art is form, art is priceless, art is thought, art is imagination, art is colors, art is emotion, art is creative, art is imitation, art is painting, art is sculpting, art is expression, art is responsibility, art is idea, art is... You can go on and on and on to explain exactly what art is. That can never be emphasized. Now, the next thing I want you to know is art changes people, and then people change the world. Art changes people, and people change the world. Now, art is anything and everything. So these and lots more are the definition of the word art. All right. So now let's continue. Now let's look at a brief history or origin of the word art. Now, the word art originated from a Latin word, which is known as what? Arti, which means to do well. You don't get that. Arti is a Latin word that means to do well. Art activities could be traced back to the early men who wrote and drew on cave walls, rock surface, wood, and hides. Although most of these materials are aged and what? Withered and what? Perish. Now, some of these materials this artist drew with, they are old. Some of them, due to climatic factors, they are withered and they have what? Perished. But what we are trying to say in essence is what? Art, it started long, even before the evolution of technology. There had been art. Men have started inventing things, they've started creating things. They draw with their charcoal, they draw with stones, anything they can lay their hands on, they express themselves with that. All right. Now, the various techniques used in presenting objects on such surfaces include scratching, engraving, incising, drawing, graffiti, and painting. I want to believe you know the word graffiti. You've come across the word before, graffiti. Okay, for those of you that might not know what that means, it's kind of drawing on the wall with a spray paint. You've seen some of these white guys or even black guys that draws on large walls with spray paint. Now that's called what? Graffiti. So now, various techniques have been used to express, themselves in art. Now, such paintings were done with, now some of these paintings in the ancient, we're talking about the history now, some of these paintings in the ancient art were done with animal fat to form a kind of oil paint. Now you see they use animal fat to make their paint. Now others were done with sharp and hard tools, probably hunting and farming implements. Now these are some of the tools that they use, to make some of these paintings on the wall. Are you following? All right. Now, if our ancient forefathers can think of such, how much more you? Now, the cave art was basically done for magical purposes. Yes, it is actually done for magical purposes, as objects of worship and for attracting animal, which is subsequently killed. Now, let me tell you a little story about these cavemen. Now, you see, whenever they are going for hunting, they draw how they want to kill any of this animal they have in mind to kill, and then they worship that animal they drew, and then the essence of doing that is to attract that animal to them, so that at the end of the day they will be able to kill the animal and then come back home with something. So it was done for magical purposes and worship. They worship these things to attract animals, to help them feed their family and take care of themselves. All right. So locations of cave art. Location of what? Cave art. Now, some of these arts were discovered at Altamira in the northern Spain. Altamira is located in what? In Spain. We have another place where some of these other, these paintings were discovered, which is the Tassili and the Tibasli in Plateau in northern Africa. Yes, and we also have the Lascaux cave in southern France. So these are the places where art were found. Okay, now I haven't said all this. Now let's do a quick rundown of everything we've talked about. Now, this is the first part of this class. While we proceed, you get everything full. But for now, let's do a quick rundown of everything we've talked about. Now, at the beginning of this class, we talked about some of the importance of art, which I told us art is a wide human activity that involves skills. It is imaginative, told us it is creative, and is what is aesthetic in nature. Now, that we explained. And I also gave us several definitions, about 8 definitions of what art is. I told us art is the outward expression of an inward feeling. I hope you get that. And then finally, we also talked about what? The origin of art. Now, where we looked at how the cavemen made some of their paintings and preserved some of their works. These and even more are some of the things we taught in this class. Okay, so now I'm going to ask us some few questions and then test us and see how far we've gone or how well we did. Okay. In your own word, I would want you to define the word art. Yes. Did I hear you say art is everything and anything that is beautiful? Or did you say art is the outward expression of an inward feeling? You're so correct. Okay, that's beautiful. Now, let's look at the next question. What states to importance of art? States to importance of art. And then I want you to do that. Just do that. And then the third question I want you to look at is the word art originated from where? Where did the word art originated from? And then lastly, I want you to list 2 places where artworks was found. Just try your hands in that. And now, let's go over to the exam guide and then see what we'll have there. We'll try our hands on some of the questions we have on exam guide. Remember, like I said earlier before we started this lesson, that exam guide is a go-to for any exams you want to take. So let's go over to our exam guide. Okay, so we are now at the exam guide. It is very simple, easy to flow, as in easy to operate. I just want to believe you have it because I told you before we start this lesson that you need this exam guide to go along with us. All right, if you look at your dashboard, what I have here is the exam guide for UTME. The exam guide for UTME. So we are going to go down to the subject we have for today, which is fine art. Fine art. Now let's go there. All right, fine art. Beautiful. Okay, and then you just click on get started. That lab will have our first question for fine art. Artworks that are produced to serve a utilitarian purpose are classified as dash. A, we have applied art. B, we have fine art. C, we have literary art. And D, we have theater art. Yeah. Utilitarian purpose. Okay. I guess that's applied art. And let's look at the second question. And again, because of our time, I doubt if we can take all the questions. But however, let's just take these few ones and then you go practice by yourself and then try your hands on some other questions. Now, literary art involves dash. A, you have your painting and sculpture. B, you have your architecture. C, you have your drama. And D, you have your poetry and prose. What exactly did you think? So, and if you say poetry and prose, you are correct. Thank you for participating in today's class. You can practice more questions using the exam guide. Now, the app scores and give a detailed explanation of all the questions at the end of your practice test. Now, you can learn a particular topic of interest with different modes like study mode, mock mode, and practice mode. It also have other features that make learning fun. Now, it is a must-have for all serious students. Download the app from www.examguide.com if you don't have it yet. See you in the next class. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and then share this video to anyone you know that would benefit from it. Thank you, and bye-bye.